Hello. So thanks for coming here. Today, I'm Marco Clemente, and today I'm going to touch and to give you, sharing some information about what I think is personal branding for me, what I think is important for everyone today, and how you can take charge of it. So this is me. Even if I have a very strong British accent, I'm actually from Italy. Okay, so this never worked in Korea. Italian humor. Okay. So I'm from Italy, but I live in 8 countries so far, mostly for education. And now I'm an assistant professor in Sungyung-gwan in Seoul. Before my academic career, I was a marketing manager in P&G. And I want to share you a story on when I started to understand what was personal branding and branding in general. So this is my young me, or old me, I don't know. So this was when I was an intern in P&G. And my job was a kind of dream job that you can have when you are a 24-year-old Italian guy. So I was managing a perfume and fragrance brand for brands like Dolce & Gabbana, Gucci, Valentino. So my job including to go to fashion show and be in this glamorous world. It was also tough, so the P&G is a demanding company, but also because as an Italian, you grow up in fashion, surrounded by fashion, but I never studied fashion myself. So my task for my internship was to understand the difference between brands. Okay? For example, what's the difference between Chanel and Dolce & Gabbana? So I'm asking you now, any fashionist here, can you define in one word what is Chanel and what is Dolce & Gabbana? Only one word.
Expensive.
Chanel, expensive. Dolce & Gabbana, D&G? Expensive as well, I guess. One word for Chanel? Iconic. Iconic? Okay.
Classic.
Classic. Fancy. What? Fancy. Fancy? Okay. One word for D&G? Luxury. Luxury? So Chanel, not so much luxury. D&G? Italian, okay. So what does it mean to be Italian? Be careful. Any other adjective or D&G? Gordon, do you have any idea of D&G?
Italian.
Italian again, okay. So if marketing and fashion designer of Chanel and Dolce & Gabbana are good, we should be able to recognize which one is Chanel and which one is Dolce & Gabbana. Any ideas? The first one? No? And the second one, Dolce & Gabbana. So when people think about Chanel, usually think about true femininity, classic or French. And when people talk about Dolce & Gabbana, usually they have like Mediterranean show-off, eccentric or Italian, for whatever that it means. So what P&G taught me about branding in general was that you can have this test. You can wake up your consumer at 3 a.m. in the morning and ask him, what is one word that describes my brand? Then you collect all these, the common set of words, and this is the brand as observer, consumer perceive it. So the common set of words that people use when you wake them up at 3 a.m. in the morning. It can be 3 or 4 a.m., so the hour doesn't matter. But what matters is to ask them in a way that it is not, that they don't have to think about, so that they are unexpectedly, and the first answer that they make. Now, this is what is a brand. Now, what is a good brand? So a good brand is when these common set of words are unique, distinguishable. So you are able to recognize Chanel and Dolce & Gabbana, and you are able to attribute to Chanel more words related to classic and femininity, and to Dolce & Gabbana more words related to other characteristics. Also, it has to add value to the observer so that the observer have to become customers. So here I'm making a distinction between what is a brand, and any product can be a brand, so any product can be associated to some words, but if this common set of words are unique, distinguished, and add value, this is what we call a good brand. Now, what is a personal brand? You can just take out product and put personal. So a personal brand is the common set of words that observers, in this case, your family, friends, and colleagues, can attribute to you. And the good personal brand is if this set of words are unique to you, are distinguishable, and they add value to your consumer as they may become customer or not as you decide in the future. Now, a good starting point is to know what is your current customer, what is your current personal brand. So I don't advise you to call your family or friends at 3 a.m. in the morning, but you can do another thing. So you can post on Facebook, how would you define me in one word? So I did this yesterday in preparation for this talk. And yeah, you can have fun reading that. Teenager. I like it. Okay. So branding matters for company, doesn't matter for people as well. So how would you describe Justin Sacco? Justin Sacco? Any of you ever heard? So this is an exercise that I do in class, in my business ethics class, and the people in a few seconds can Google Justin Sacco. And they start to have an opinion on Justin Sacco. So Justin Sacco can be any of us. She's a hard worker Canadian that after many months of work, she decided to take a flight and go on holiday in South Africa. So a trip that will be around 12 to 14 hours. But before taking the flight and boarding to the plane, she tweets something. This is what she tweets. Okay? Any reaction? What do you think about this tweet? Offensive? Insensitive? No one thinks it's funny? No? No opinion? So I'm sure some of you can be found this offensive, outrageous, but probably it is not the most outrageous tweet we have seen in the last months of years, even tweet by politicians or public figures. However, this became very public. We were retweeted millions of times, and it was picked by major newspaper and broadcaster. So Justin Sacco lost her job. She received death threats, and her life was not the same anymore. So if you have to at least take one simple rule from today, this is a good one. Okay? So never write something that you will not be proud to be seen in the front page of a newspaper, because this can actually happen today. So this is something that in a business ethics course we call disclosure rule, and many companies mention this to their employee. Okay, close enough. So what I'm trying to suggest here is that personal branding is inevitable today. So we used to have a personal branding only for our private circle, but today it matters because also people that we never interact with, they start to have an opinion about us. They can define us with one word, even if we never met them. This was before only for public figure, for celebrity, and for politicians, for example, but today everyone, willing or not, can be subject to that. It can be a threat, like in the case of Justin Sacco, but it can also be an opportunity. And this is what I think we're going to focus mostly today. Why it is an opportunity? Because before, if you wanted to reach a large audience, you have to go through a big filter. And this filter were newspaper, publisher, and other big organizations. If I wanted to publish a book, I have to contact publisher, receive 20 rejections, and maybe one day one publisher wanted to take a chance of an unknown writer. Today, there is another alternative. You can bypass all of this and use social media, and some people, as you know, they can reach a larger audience than newspaper and broadcaster. Minutes, I want to show you something on the how. So I'm talking about my experience of becoming the simple rule guy that was very accidentally. So on 25th July of 2016, I rewrote my mission in life. So my new mission in life is I want to make tomorrow better than today, step by step, and help others to do the same. So what I did is that for the next years, I start to publish one simple rule every day. So day one, simple rule of the day. Day two, simple rule of the day. And I was doing publicly on my Facebook feed, only with my friends, in order to make them accountable if I will finish 1 year with this simple rule. And I was motivated by this question: how will be my life in 1 year from now if I can learn something every day and stop making the same mistake? Then something happened. So this was around the 200 days. And I was having a phone call with a friend of mine in Italy that we don't interact regularly. And he told me, Marco, you became the simple rule guy. And so at that time also, I was receiving a few public or private messages of friends saying that what I was writing also connected to them. So I decided that maybe here I should create a blog so that to share these ideas with more people and eventually publish a book on this experience. So what in strategy, if some of you have taken any business course, you may have heard about the concept of the emerging strategy. So I never started with the idea of publishing a book. I published a book because I wanted only to publish one simple rule every day, and then I see that this was valuable for other people, and so that I decided to publish a book. You can also go on the other way, what we call an intended strategy. So today, you can start with the idea that you want to to build up your personal brand in a more strategic way, and you want to publish a book. And now you can do it even without a publisher. So the book that I published was completely self-published. If you want to know more about the theory of how to do this, there is this book that I strongly suggest. It's called Stand Out. And some examples are these two people. One is Becky Weeks, that she traveled the world, she lived in different places, Bali, Dubai, Latin America, and then she writes a blog post almost every week, and then she published this in a book. Montemagno became very famous in Italy. He has been publishing one video every day for the last 2-3 years, and he has more than 1 million people following him on Facebook, and of course then he published a book on the same idea. Finally, I want to show you two things that I learned in this experience of publishing one simple rule every day. One is this famous TED Talk, one of the most successful ones, The Power of Vulnerability. So I realized that when I was publishing, when I was making myself more vulnerable, and I was publishing and I was opening myself in this simple rule of the day, actually those were the posts and the simple rule that attracted the most attention from the people and the most appreciation. I thought at the beginning that being vulnerable would be myself making weaker. I was sharing information that people could use against me. Instead, I realized that by sharing and having positive support after, I was actually become stronger. And most importantly, vulnerability make you connect with other people instead of creating a brand or a person that you are not. The second thing I learned is that personal branding makes you become better. And what I mean by that is that in order to have a good brand, as we say, it has to be unique and distinguishable. So it forces you to clarify who you are, what are your values, and it creates accountability. So then you create people that push you then to be coherent with what you are sharing and with what it is your image that you are building online. Also, by focus on giving, you also receive a lot. I now meet many people that create community, the meetup group, and so on, and these people invest a lot of time and effort to create this community. So I ask them, why you do that? And we have always a common answer. The common answer is that by creating this community, this community actually give a lot back to us. So I'm part now of the Seoul City Crew, that is a great community of sport now in Seoul, and the motto of this community is stronger together. And this is something that people experience all the time. At the end, I also have 5 tools that you can use to start to creating and think of your personal brand. We don't have time now to go through them, but we can maybe discuss later or you will see in the presentation. So thank you for listening, and I'll let the next speaker.
Thank you, Marco. So next we're going to move on to